Hi everyone, it's Dion Baker from Cultivating Wonderful and Little Misfits. It's 8:01 Eastern Standard Time, my time, so I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm waiting to see more people join. So we're just going to wait a few minutes and see that we can get a bunch of other people on the call as well. I'm just going to take a quick peek. Give me 2 seconds. Everyone, it's Dion Baker from Cultivating Wonderful and Little Misfits. It's 8:01 Eastern Standard Time, my time, so I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm waiting to see more people join. So we're just going to wait. I bet you all could hear that. I just trying to make sure that all of the website stuff is working. So I kind of logged onto the page event just to make sure that all of you can hear me. So if you're there, if you can type in the question section at the bottom of the page, just let me know that you're joining me. That would be lovely. We're going to get started at approximately 8:05. So in the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. As I just said, I'm Dion Baker from Cultivating Wonderful and Little Misfits. And who am I? So I am just a regular person, just like everybody else, a regular shop owner. I started Little Misfits in 2010 as a way to kind of keep myself from being a workaholic, honestly. I had a full-time, very demanding, like 6-figure corporate job. I worked for General Motors of Canada, and I was their dealer direct engagement manager. So it's a pretty decent job. Like I worked nationally with all of the dealers across Canada to help them on their marketing, direct mail, and any kind of advertising questions that they had. Similarly, we started trainings and doing things like that. So that was what my team did there. Last summer, I actually quit my job there to pursue Little Misfits full time. It had grown so much between 2010 and last summer that I was finding myself in a situation where I couldn't continue to work on both. So it was either give up Little Misfits and continue to do my corporate job, or give up my corporate job and continue to do Little Misfits. So basically, it's very clear to see what we actually did. Based on that, Little Misfits has done really well for me. I'm always getting questions from small shop owners or even stay-at-home moms who just kind of want to start a business while they stay at home and hopefully grow that business so that by the end, they can just stay at home. They don't actually have to go back to work after their mat leave ends. And I don't always have the time, unfortunately, to answer every single question that I get. So I figured what better way to answer questions and kind of help everybody else who's trying to do the same thing that I've done by having these kinds of webinars. So this is going to be the first one in a series of many. Of course, this one is how to sell more with brand teams. And it's going to be a fun little webinar. It's jam-packed. It's kind of like a webinar workshop. So we are going to workshop where I show you like step by step how to actually do some of the things that I'm telling you you should do as part of your brand team setup, so that there's no real mystery about how all these things work by the time that the end of the call is. So I will be taking questions at the end of the call. And like I said, you can just type your questions in to that little box at the bottom of the screen there. And I'll be taking questions and I'll be answering all the questions that you have. So based on that, it's around 8:04 Eastern Standard Time, my time. I'm going to give the people one more minute to kind of get started, and then we will just jump right into all of the content that I have, because it probably will take the better part of the hour to get through a lot of that stuff. So okay, so we're at 8:05. So I'm just going to go in and just make sure that all of my stuff is ready to go. And I'm going to share my screen with you. If you could just let me know that you can see it, that would be fantastic. So I'm going to just change it over here. And then I'm going to pop up the presentation that I have ready for this. So this is the brand team webinar. So basically, on the schedule for today, we're going to learn the lingo that you need to know to understand all of the content that I'll be going over with you today, questions I get about brand teams all the time, different kinds of brand teams that are in the marketplace. Brand team strategies, like how many reps should I have? Should I have physical location reps? Are there posting guidelines? Like, do I want them to post once every 2 weeks or once every day? Should they edit their Instagram profiles so that people know that they rep for me? I'm going to give you organization strategies to give more and get more from your team, engagement strategies to keep your team motivated, organization tips and tricks for your photos when they send you photos so that you know where to find everything all the time. I'm going to teach you how to monetize your brand team, which just basically means how to make more money using brand teams. And I'm just going to go over some of the brand team pitfalls that I've encountered since I started my own team, and how to avoid them. So moving to the next slide, the lingo. So basically what you need to be aware of is your target market. I think most people know what that is, but just in case, the target market is the ideal customer for your product or service, and that can be different from the customers that you currently have. So for instance, my target market would be cool, young, hip parents who like rock bands, who are a little bit non-traditional, and who don't generally find black t-shirts for kids severe. There are a whole group of people who tell me all the time, oh, black on a child is too much, but that's clearly just not my target market. Those can be different from the customers I currently have because I do get a variety of different customers based on the kinds of marketing I do. So like I market on Pinterest, I market on Instagram, I do some Facebook ads sometimes. So depending on who sees those ads, like who those channels like Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook decide to show my ads to or show my pictures to, I sometimes get clients or customers who are great customers. They're just not exactly my ideal customer. They're not who I'm directing my marketing at. So that's kind of idea behind the target market. ROI. So ROI is your return on investment. It's what you get in return for what you're giving. So if I'm giving my brand reps a package of $250 worth of kids' clothes, what am I getting in return? What is the perceived value of what they're giving me back? They're giving me pictures, they're giving me their time. So you kind of always want to make sure as a business person that what you're giving out, you're getting more back. And then I'm just going to go through here the difference between a rep versus an enthusiast versus an ambassador. So a representative is an official and long-standing member of your brand team. It's like your #1 fan, like a spokesperson for your shop. An enthusiast is a newer member to your brand family, more casually in like with your brand. So they really like you. They might like a bunch of other shops as well. They're probably inclined to kind of share you with their friends, but not in the same way that a representative does. Like a representative knows when you're dropping, your next season's line and is kind of waiting in line and excited to see what your new shirts are going to be like or your new products are going to be, is kind of responsive to your emails. Like if you email out your customer list, those are the people that are opening the emails, clicking through, making purchases, that sort of thing. And then there's an ambassador, and for me, an ambassador is the same as a representative. Now, there's an important thing to note here because there are different kinds of brand teams based on, I guess, everybody's own preference, right? There's no specific way to make the proper brand team. So I'm just sharing with you guys how I've set up mine and how I've noticed that a lot of the other small businesses who are doing really well with their brand teams have also set up theirs. Given that there will be some kind of nuances, like for instance, some people have an ambassador that's different than a representative, and there's different criteria for an ambassador under their brand rep program than there would be for a representative. So just something to note as we continue through the slides here. So that's kind of the lingo. So the next thing I said we're going to go over is the questions I get all the time. I'm going to be going through these questions one at a time and kind of just expanding on them. So the first question I get all the time is, what is a brand team and do I need one? What types of brand teams are there? How large should my brand team be? How do I do a brand rep search? How do I choose my brand reps? How do I organize them? Do I give them free stuff? Should I use a brand team contract? And how often should my brand reps change? So the #1 question on that list was, what is a brand team? And just a really simple definition, a brand team is a group of unpaid volunteers that are enthusiastic about your brand or product. They are part of your target market. They have something to offer you, like pictures of them wearing your clothes or using your products. And they have a wide social network that is also part of your target market. So you just kind of want to make sure that the brand reps that you pick are definitely in your ideal customer range, and their associates are also part of that customer range. So if you had a person who, let's just for example say, was 29 years old and she was super tattooed and punk rock, and your brand was very, classy and elegant and not tattoo, right? Not to say that tattoos aren't classy and aren't elegant, not by any means. I myself have tattoos and I think they're really great, but I'm talking, the golf club kind of vibe is what you're going for. This really high-end luxury, pristine kind of pretty thing. Basically, you're not obviously going to pick a rep like what I would pick. I would pick the tattooed mom who, is punk rock and loves to kind of share and is posting, that she's gone to concerts and that sort of thing. For you, it's going to be a different strategy. You're going to be looking for a different type of rep. So you want to make sure that your rep matches your target audience, and that who they hang out with also matches that audience. And then they're passionate about your success. So that's the other big key factor. You want reps that are enthusiastic. They're like your cheerleaders. So that is kind of, in a nutshell, what a traditional brand team looks like. Now, the secondary question I always get asked after that first question is, well, do I need a brand rep team? And the short answer on that one is no, you don't. I honestly hear so many times people who are doing trainings telling you, oh, you need to have this and you need to have that, like you need to have a lead funnel and all these other things. And while definitely there's benefits and advantages to having all that kind of stuff, it's never that you absolutely need to have really anything. You know what's right for your business and your marketing strategy. For me, brand teams have worked beautifully to give me high-end, like quality pictures, and give me great ideas on things that I can tweak or change about my business that actually helps attract more customers. So not everyone needs one, but I do definitely think that it's beneficial to have one. So moving to the next thing, what we've got is a traditional versus standard team. Sorry. So there are two different kinds of teams. There's a traditional team, it shouldn't say standard, it should be non-traditional. So traditional versus non-traditional. So traditional team basically builds on all of those principles that I just outlined when I said, what is a brand team, right? The non-traditional team is kind of an out-of-the-box style team that requires a little bit more creativity to pull off. They're generally a group of people who can be mutually benefiting from sharing each other's products or stores or blogs. And the difference between the two is, my personal opinion is, for a traditional team, it's generally for a product that people can wear or people are very likely to use every single day, right? So if you live in California and you own a bicycle company, like a pedal bicycle company, people could use that every single day. So you might benefit from a brand team, and you would probably benefit from a traditional brand team. A non-traditional brand team is more for super custom products or really high-end products. So say you're a custom jewelry manufacturer and you make all this jewelry, and basically your opening price is like $5,000 for one piece. You're probably not going to benefit from a team that you're going to either give free stuff or heavily discounted products to photograph your items. You might, but more than likely, you're going to benefit from the non-traditional setup of a brand team where it's kind of out of the box. So maybe you know somebody who has a small jewelry store, or very like in line with your ideals and brands kind of collective store. Like, it's not just jewelry they sell high-end art prints and other things. You might want to team up with that person as part of your brand team. You can photograph your items in their stores, maybe get some customer pictures if they're selling your products, and then add a blogger to the team who will then kind of take those pictures that you get from both the store and your jewelry, and then just broadcast all of that kind of stuff out. So it's just something to think about. That's kind of more the non-traditional version of a brand team. So who can use a brand team? You can use a brand team if the intention is to source leads from Instagram. So what do I mean by that? if you are looking for customers actively on Instagram, a brand team is definitely for you. Like, Instagram is huge in terms of return on investment for the time that you spend there. So if you're not on Instagram right now, I definitely encourage you to get on there and start actually building your following and looking for people to rep your brand. You can use a brand team if you just need really good product photography from live models or styled product photography. So what is styled product photography? That is basically, I take the product and I put it in a natural environment. So let's say it's not clothing, right? Let's say it's bicycles, because we used that example already. So I'm going to take that bicycle and I'm going to photograph it with the state-of-the-art helmet that I use, and maybe, you know, this really cool water stand that can connect to that bicycle. And, you know, I'm a bicycle enthusiast and I'm your rep. So it's a styled photography shoot. So you can see it in the live environment, but you as the business owner don't have to then go out and buy the fancy helmet and buy all of the little kind of accessories that would be used with your bike. The next thing is, new companies who are looking to quickly establish themselves in the marketplace can definitely benefit from use of a brand team. So it's definitely good if you're brand new to get it there on Instagram, to get it there on Facebook, and to start looking for reps. That is a great way to actually get a bit of a following, because there are so many people, especially if you own a children's brand, who are always looking to show off how cute their kids are, right? And they're looking to get all the cool new clothes, either for free or at discounted prices, so that they can take pictures of their kids and kind of help build your business. So if you're a new company looking to quickly establish yourself in the marketplace online, definitely worth it to have a brand team. So like I was saying before, who might not benefit from using a traditional brand team when the product is considered luxury or expensive, or the product is not wearable or usable every day. So let's say you had a wall art shop, you would definitely be in the secondary group, where you would probably benefit more from the use of a non-traditional brand team. I'm gonna move next. So if I'm in the secondary group, should I stop listening now? Of course not. I've gone ahead and just kind of explained the traditional brand teams versus the out of the box or the non-traditional brand teams. The thing about the non-traditional brand teams is you do have to cast a bit of a wider net to find the ideal brand reps for you. And brand partnerships really is what you should think of it as. So if there's a local shop, you know, in your town that does cool things that kind of mesh with your brand identity, that's a great partnership in terms of brand teams to consider. Or, you know, a blogger that's maybe not local, but really just kind of has the same exact vibe as what you're going for. That's another thing to kind of consider for the non-traditional brand teams. Obviously, your team will look a bit different than the traditional ones. So you might have to get a bit creative about how you pitch these people and how you get them on board to kind of do things with your brand. And for me, one of the biggest questions, like it's the #1 question that I ask whenever I'm asking anyone to do anything, is I ask, well, what's in it for them? Like, I know as a business owner, we're kind of always looking for like, well, what's in it for me? What's the ROI? What am I going to get from it? But realistically, when you're working with any kind of people, you want to be looking at it from a different perspective. You want to look at it like, what do they want? You know, what is the ideal thing? And what's worked really well for me in terms of blogger partnerships is kind of looking at, well, do my customers actually read their blogs right now? Like, I can research that and find out, just either doing a simple email out to my customer base saying, hey, you know, here are the popular children's blogs that we're considering, you know, do you guys read any of these things? And gauging by the response I get, determine, okay, well, you know what, that blogger is not necessarily in the realm of my customers, but maybe they should be, right? So then I kind of come up with a strategy of, well, what's in it for them? Well, if I know for sure that my customers are not reading their blog, and let's say they have a blog that's about children's fashion, right? My pitch is going to be built around, I have maybe 2,000 or 5,000 or however many customers that, you know, are really engaged with my brand. They're on my Facebook page, they're on my Instagram, they're always entering these giveaways, and they don't read your blog. And I think your blog is really awesome, and I'd really like to rectify that. So can we work together so I can introduce you to my 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 customers? You know what I mean? And bloggers love that, because they're always trying to expand their audiences too. So just kind of a thing to consider when you're approaching people, any people to kind of work with you. Always start with what's in it for them instead of what's in it for you. So moving on, what types of brand teams are there? So there's earned merchandise brand teams. And again, these are kind of traditional. So earned merchandise brand teams where the members have to do something for you prior to getting any kind of discounted or complimentary merchandise. So in that way, basically, most of the time it's set up where you give this person access to your logo, some of your marketing materials and whatnot. They go out to their networks and they try and kind of sell for you the product that you're pitching. And then based on, you know, maybe a discount code or some sort of tracker, you're able to see, you know, who's come in based on that person and give them a certain percentage of the sales that you're getting. So it's kind of like a salesman relationship, but a little bit different in that, you know, they're not employed by the company. There's no like base salary. It's strictly volunteer, and it's completely up to them how they're going to go ahead and engage people with your brand. So a couple of ways to track that. You can get affiliate software that will do that for you. Or you can get, you know, just a simple discount code. Like most of the shops, like Shopify, Big Cartel, even Etsy, have discount codes that you can make that are specific to a person. You can give them that discount code, and whoever uses that code, then, you know, came in based on whoever it was that signed up, right? So the next kind of brand team is an exchange value brand team. So the members receive something up front in exchange for either pictures promised later or something that they're going to do for you later. So you can say up front, you know, I'm giving you a 40% discount. And in exchange, what I'm looking for are, you know, 4 pictures every 2 weeks of your children in real life situations, like playing in the park or, you know, getting ready for school or something like that with our product or something similar to that. The members can work collaboratively to support one another. And this is kind of where the non-traditional thing can kind of come into play on the exchange value. Generally, it's hard to go kind of pitch a small shop owner, hey, you know, I'll give you 40% off if you sell my stuff, because they're looking at how they're going to sell their own stuff, coming back to what's in it for them. So the exchanged value is a really great way to kind of get the non-traditional teams moving in the right direction. The next question I get is, how large should my team be? So what is the objective of having a brand team? Like asking a question and answering a question with a question. So basically you have to ask yourself, what do I want from my brand team before you determine the size that your brand team is going to be? So for me, I kind of wanted more of a brand family. Like not only did I want pictures of children in the clothes and pictures of their parents, I wanted, you know, engagement. Like I wanted to know, okay, what new products are out there that we don't have that you wish we did? I wanted to be able to talk to people and have real conversations about what was happening out in the marketplace and what, if anything, was kind of amiss for my business. Like if I changed my website, my brand team would be the first people to get on the website and test it out for me to make sure that, you know, the checkout works properly, or all of the links are working and going where they're supposed to go, and all the pictures are the exact same size and nothing's confusing. That would basically be a strategy there. So depending on what the objective of your brand team is, that will basically determine how large your team needs to be. The secondary question, once you've kind of figured out, why do I want a brand team? Like, what am I going to use them for? Is how much business you're doing currently. And the reason that that's a good consideration to make is because you don't want to be coming hand over fist, like especially if you're a brand new business. So say you just started your business, you have like 5 customers who are basically your best friends or your family, and you don't really have a huge budget to be giving out a bunch of free product. Basically, you know, you don't want to then go do a brand rep search and add 40 brand reps to your to your business, right? Like you're going to basically make it maybe 1 or 5, and just work with those brands, or sorry, with those brand reps to kind of really get your whole program sorted and really get, you know, a valuable brand rep team in place. And then the third question to ask yourself is, how will the reps benefit my business? And that is kind of the gravy of this whole webinar, is how do these brand reps benefit you as a business owner? So a lot of the time, like a lot of the ones on Instagram, for instance, are all about pictures. So they don't really care, you know, if they're hitting their ideal target market or if those people have a wide social net of influence. They're just kind of looking for cute kids to put in the clothes. And that is definitely a strategy to use. Like, it gets a lot of different kids wearing your clothes, so you can look like an overnight success in that you've got maybe like 40 or 100 different pictures that you can be posting of people, and nobody actually knows whether they're brand reps or they're customers. The reason I don't particularly like that strategy is because it seems kind of like an empty engagement, right? Like, I'll give you a discount, you give me a picture, that's the end of it. For me personally, I wanted more for my brand team. But if that's a strategy for you, that you just really want a bunch of pictures so that it looks like you're super successful, then that's definitely a strategy that you can employ. Like, how are the reps going to benefit your business? So going back to kind of how my reps benefit my business, I was explaining, I bounce things off of them, like new products that I'm toying around with coming into the shop, or new fabric selections, you know, new discount codes or sales that are coming up, new types of marketing I'm trying. You know, I ask my brand reps, are you on these things? Are you using them? What do you think when you see big companies on them? That sort of thing, to just kind of gauge whether it's something that I should be looking more into, or whether it's something that I can just kind of wait on and try later on. So for you, most of the time, how the reps most immediately benefit your business are by giving you beautiful product photography that you can use in all of your advertising. Secondarily, if you give them a unique discount code, or even sometimes not, like if these reps are really engaged with your brand and they really like what you're doing, a lot of the times they'll just share stuff for free just because they like you, they're into it, right? So those are the two most immediate ways that a rep will benefit your business. After that, you know, there's a bunch of different things that we'll go deeper into as the webinar continues here. So moving on, how do I choose the reps? So again, I'm just kind of sharing with you guys how I've chosen my brand rep team. So the brand style matches individuals' goals, aspirations, or vibes. So when I look at my brand applications that come in, I really look to see, does this person match the Little Misfits vibe? Like, are they tattooed? Do they have kids? Are they, you know, happy, kind of positive people? Are they into skateboarding? Are they into social sharing? Are they talkative and kind of enthusiastic? What I can glean from my reps is I have a long application process. So I get them to answer questions for me. I look at their Instagrams, I look at their Facebook if they have that, and I just kind of try to really look and see who this person is. Like, what can I get off of your social networks that tell me exactly who you are as a person? The next kinds of reps are by physical location. So let's say you have an area that you're trying to target. Like, let's say you live in New York and a lot of New Yorkers don't know about your brand. And that's the area that you really want to focus on because it's right in your backyard, right? You can basically hone in on the reps that are in those surrounding areas, or even neighborhoods sometimes, and then choose your reps accordingly from there, right? Or sometimes you'll get reps that live in an area where you're trying to grow a lot of interest in your brand, like LA or Florida, for instance, where, you know, there's this wide net of, you know, young families and grandparents, right? So that's mostly for kids' businesses. And I apologize for that. Like, I will do that a lot just because obviously my business is for children. So I'm kind of teaching you based on what I know. So, you know, you can look at it via physical location, and you can kind of just see where these people are coming from and choose by that. You can look at their personal interests, activities, and desires to make sure that they're in line with your brand's interests, activities, and desires. And that kind of goes back to matching the goals or aspirations or vibe. You really want to make sure that the reps that you're choosing are a good match for your company. The worst thing is to, you know, bring on a rep, put in all the work to kind of do that, and then give them stuff, and then find out later on that they're not really what you wanted, right? Like, and you're not really going to get the benefit from them that you were hoping for. So it's really good if you can just kind of look at their social, talk with them a bit to figure out who these people are, like at the core of who they are. Picture quality on social media is good. That's a huge, like, number one. You want to make sure that, you know, you're getting clear pictures that they're sharing on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. It's not like weird angles or, you know, distracting backgrounds, that they know a little bit about photography and take some good pictures that you can use later on in your marketing. You want people that engage with their followers and friends. Like, all too often people focus on, especially on Instagram, the people who have 50,000 followers. And it's like, okay, I get it. It looks like a great number if that person has a huge social network. But all too often, if you click on one of their pictures, you see like 100 or 200 comments and they don't respond at all. And unfortunately, what that creates is a disconnect for them and their audience. So you want people who are engaging, who come back, who, if somebody asks them a question on their picture, you know, actually takes the time to respond. And I get it. When you have 50,000 followers, you can't respond to every single comment. But I mean, I'm talking about the people who you can kind of go on Instagram and look through their feed and click on any picture and they haven't responded once to anyone. Those are the kinds of people that you want to avoid, because they're not really going to be positive for your brand. People are going to kind of do a drive-by like, and then they're not going to do anything else because they know that that person doesn't respond. So just something to consider. And then, of course, somebody who's really enthusiastic about your brand, who likes your products, who likes, you know, what you're doing, and who's on board with it because it fits who they are as a person. So those are how I choose my reps. And that's basically my top list of things I consider when choosing a rep. The next thing is our first workshop part of this. So it's, how do I do a brand rep search? There's a couple of different strategies that you can employ to do your search. Basically, you can team up with other shops who are also completing their rep searches at the same time. And that's a key strategy for if you're brand new or super small. You can team up with some larger shops, and it actually helps to benefit all of you, because a lot of the times what happens when you do a brand rep search is you get like 500 to 1,000 entries, and it's all really adorable, like kids, or, you know, it's all really good quality reps that are applying for your brand. And it's really hard to choose at that point. Like, you can go through 1,000 applications, which is what I do. Like, I literally go through each and every single one to make sure that I'm really taking a hard look at these people. And you can end up with like 250 people who are just perfect for your brand, but your company's not the size where you need 250 reps. Like, maybe you're only bringing on 4 and you need to kind of scale it down. So by doing rep searches with other companies, it just kind of expands the chances for those people who are entering those rep searches to get picked up by a different company if you can't use them, or they don't make your top 10 or whatever cut. The next thing, you want to make sure that you create the rules or the questionnaires and applications and host them online, but you want to make sure you do that obviously in advance of your brand rep search. Like, you don't want to launch the search and then have to try and catch up later. Learn from experience. So I have on my website, and I'll show you in a second, basically a little PDF that you can download. So if you want to work with us, we posted a brand rep search somewhere, you click on the brand rep search, you will be redirected to a link that basically tells you what our brand rep program is all about. So based on that, it's a lot easier for you to understand what we're looking for and to determine if you're a fit. From there, you have to apply for us, and not just via a picture. Like, for my rep program, there's an actual application process that you have to go through, and then I will take a look and review, and then I'll send you back another questionnaire. So it's kind of like a 4-step process for me. And for me, the reason I do that is it's weeding out anyone who's not really that serious and who just wants to get free stuff. So if you're going to go through all 4 steps, I know that generally you're pretty serious about wanting to rep for us, and you're probably going to be a good fit for our company. You want to host those things online, just because when somebody's sending you an email, like say they send you an email, you send them back one, and then they send you back one and you send them back one. First things first, it's really easy to lose track of all of those emails in your inbox. Like, even if you're storing them in a special folder, you know, your email box probably gets clogged up. If yours is anything like mine, I get like hundreds of emails a day. So Online, I know I could just go in, find out what I need, and it's all right there for me. And it just makes it easier to organize and easier for the people to apply as well and know that you're kind of engaging and set expectations about when you're going to get back to them. Some key strategies to kind of get more reps kind of interested in your brand rep search. You can blog about it. You can put little pins on Pinterest, let people know on your other social media channels. And most importantly, ask people to share with their friends. Like, so many people are repping for a company and have friends with kids or friends, you know, that are in your target market that will definitely help benefit your brand. So all you literally have to do is basically go ahead and ask them to share, and then you're getting maybe 5, 10, 15, like sometimes hundreds of more interested eyes on your posts, and you're getting good quality reps applying to kind of work with you. The last thing is look at the legalities. Like, some states and some provinces have kind of limits on these sorts of things because they look at it as, you know, value, right? Like, they're getting a product that's worth a perceived value, like, which is your MSRP. So let's say, you know, let's say you sell watches and your minimum watch is $100, right? So they're getting something in return for giving you something, right? And a lot of places will look at that as income. So you just kind of want to work with like a lawyer, or even like LegalZoom.com or something like that, Legal Depot, one of those kinds of things, just to make sure that you know what you're on the hook for. Like, if you need to be, you know, signing up for tax forms for your brand rep teams after they hit a certain amount of free stuff, you just kind of need to know what you're doing. And most of the times, you don't actually have to spend that much money. Like, you can find online lawyers who do consultations for free and who will give you all the advice that you need for free, and then you can just kind of set it up for there. Or even a lawyer who might charge you like for 1 hour, which might be $50 or $100, depending on, you know, like an hour, half an hour session that you do with them. And you get a lot of really good key information about how you're going to protect yourself, okay? So it's really important to kind of make sure that you don't skip that step. So now we're going to kind of get into the workshop. So how do I launch my brand rep search? Most of the times you just create a simple image, and there are tons of ways online that you can do this. Canva.com is one of my favorites, but there's also Bazaar, Photoshop, and WordSwag. Like, Bazaar and WordSwag are apps for, I know, your iPhone, and I think you can get both of them for your Android phones as well. And they just help you kind of create really eye-catching graphics that, you know, stand out on your social media channels. The other thing is you can basically send out emails to your collaborators. Like, so if you've collaborated with other shops, or you're in even a Facebook group, or, you know, some sort of entrepreneurial group that has a similar need for these kinds of reps, you can go ahead and send out emails to those people and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, let's collaborate on something. And sometimes those people are great with graphics and will do this kind of thing for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for a second while I go into canva.com, and we'll start you out on that. Just take 1 sec. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And then you guys should all be able to see this. So this is the dashboard of what you come into when you go into canva.com. So you set up a free account there, and they have a whole bunch of free graphics that you can use. So it's literally going to cost you nothing but time to come in here, choose a graphic for your rep search, like type in some words and get it going. So when you come in, there's your designs, and you can see that I have a few different designs that I've used in the past for things. But you can also click this link here, which is your stream. And this is all of the new designs that people have been working on and sharing on Canva, right? So you can see there's a bunch of different designs here, some that are for, you know, baby-ish items, some that are for bicycles, as that's been my example for today. But there's a lot of really great images here that are free. If they're not free, the really cool thing about canva.com is that they're only $1 too. So it's not like going to like iStock Photography and you're going to have to spend $100 just to get the picture, and then you don't know how to lay out things. basically you just come into canva.com, you find out what you want to do, and then you can either scroll through the stream to find, you know, graphics that work for you, or you can actually like make your own using your own pictures. So first things first, you've got this create a design banner here at the top. So what you want to do is you're going to pick what kind of design you need. So like if you're doing a presentation like I am today, you might pick a presentation. For the most part, what you're going to pick is either like a social media or an Instagram post, which is over here, right? So let's just click on social media just to see what comes up. And so now you're seeing over to the left, you've got layouts, text, background, and uploads. So the layouts are basically where the words go on top of the images, right? That's all that really means. And, you know, how much of the image is showing through the backside. So you can go through and you can scroll and you can see there's a bunch of things, bunch of different options for you to choose from. And you can continue to scroll. And as you continue to scroll, more things pop up. So let's say, you know, you've got a really kind of female focused brand and you're doing a brand rep search, and you know, you just want it to be simple. You could go with a graphic like this one, the Budapest gift, right? And basically once you go in, you just click on where the words are, and when you click, you can just delete and type in your own text, right? So let's just say my store. And then if you click out and then click back in, search. Now you see that's popped out, and the reason that is because it's kind of big, like it's at 48 for the font size. So you just click in there and you can change the font size so that it kind of makes it actually look better. If you're doing a seasonal search, 2015 summer. And you can actually also pull the handles if you didn't want to resize the text, and just kind of center them. And there's these clever little guides that pop up to let you know when you're right in the center. So summer 2015 summer, let's call it Little Misfits, just to make it more appropriate. And I'm going to scale that down in size a little bit. Brand rep search. Boom, there's my image. So I could literally just say, I'm good. Let me download that image. When you click it, it's going to ask you download it as an image or as a high quality PDF. You can choose either. In my case, I always go with image because I know I'm just going to share it right away on social media of some form. And then basically from there, it's preparing your design. So this one, it's saying it's $2. You can, and it's offering me like a special offer for $10 for 11 images. So I would save $1, right? So you just pop in your credit card information, you make a payment. It's new to me that they're doing it for $2 now. I thought they were always just $1, so that must have been a recent change. But ultimately, you're going to pay a couple bucks for these kinds of graphics. For the premium ones inside of canva.com, you can get very simple non-premium ones, and those are indicated by this little free symbol here, right? So those ones, like if you scroll back up, any of the ones that you're going to be able to download for free and just edit are going to have that little free symbol on the side. So you can see that right there. So that is literally as simple as it gets for canva.com. If, say, you liked this white overlay, but you didn't really like this background image, it's very similar to how we just did the edits to the text. You would just kind of click on the background image and then click the delete key, and then you can upload your own images and use whatever you'd like, right? So if you had a specific image that maybe you took for some of your marketing initiatives and you really wanted to share that image as part of your search, you would just go ahead and upload it, right? So automatically what Canva does is try to size it so that it fits into your square theme, right? You just can resize it by basically clicking on those resize handles and just dragging it up. And then it's going to put it right behind. And now that's a more branded version of the exact same thing. So you can save these to your profile or your Canva account. It just auto saves for you and you can find them later. You can make them public, and that means they'd show up in the stream that I showed you earlier, or you can download them or share them. It's completely up to you what you do with them from there with Canva. Now, just because we're on a little bit of time constraint, I'm not going to show you how to do it inside of Bazart and inside of WordSwag, but at the end of the call, I will be sending out a handout that will have some screenshots of how you can do that same exact thing that I just did inside of those two channels as well. So going back to our workshop here, basically the workshop frequently asked questions I get are, how do I organize my team? So great, now you've done your brand rep search, you've got a bunch of team members, you kind of waded through your applications, and now you're like, oh crap, I've got 25 people, and I need to know who I'm sending what, and what their addresses are, and what their sizes are, or what products I'm giving them, and that sort of thing. The easiest way that I have found to organize your brand rep team is to actually just go ahead and open up a Facebook group. Simple, simple, simple. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So Facebook group coupled with Dropbox. And if you don't know what Dropbox is, it's just a website where for free, you can just kind of upload pictures. You can invite people to share. It's kind of similar to Flickr that way. Like you can give people links to share, and they can go ahead and they can upload. So you could technically use Flickr too. And then Google Forms. And this is the free way that you can actually organize your team. There are paid versions of this exact same thing. I always start with the Facebook group. So for me, I have a Facebook group, a Dropbox, and instead of using Google Forms, I pay for an account with Wufoo, wufoo.com. And the reason I do that is because I find there's a little bit more flexibility in terms of branding all of my forms that I use with my brand team that isn't offered inside of Google. And I'll show you exactly what I mean with that right now. So we're just going to get back out of here and go back over to here. I'm going to go ahead and log into Facebook. If I'm not already logged in, I am. So if you wanted to create, say, a group of like a new group, you can see I have a bunch of things going on in my Facebook. But if you click groups over here, you come up to this link and it's green and it just says create group. So you go ahead and you create your group. Let's just call it test group for webinar, because I'm just going to delete it after. You can automatically add people to the group that you're creating. So say you already had a couple people who you'd said, yep, I want you to be my brand reps, you're going to be in, and then you were setting up your group. So you didn't do it in advance like I suggested. You can just add those people here when you're setting up the group. There are these different settings on what you can do. So public, closed, or secret. Basically, I like secret groups for my brand reps just because if I'm going to post something that's upcoming for my next line, I don't necessarily want that showing up in their newsfeed if someone goes ahead and just comments on that. So like say one of my brand reps is like, this is the coolest product ever, then that would show up in their newsfeed if it was like a public group or something like that. Closed is also an option. So it says anyone can find the group and see who's in it, but only members can see the posts. So that's another good option. If you don't necessarily want to get inundated though with people seeing your brand rep group, like when they search for a group and then just trying to add themselves to it, it's probably better to go with secret. My group is secret, and that's worked really well for me. So basically, if you were going to follow my advice, you'd click secret and then you click create. So it's asking me for a friend to add to my group. So I don't know if I could add myself here. It wants like one person to add. So just let's pretend I'm going to add Laurel to this group. She works with me. So we'll say we're going to create it. Right, you can choose an icon for your group. So over here, it's a little grayed out, but you can see there's little icons beside all of the groups. So you can choose an icon for the group, or you can just skip that option. So I'm just going to click skip for now, and then it's basically here's your group. So there's a few customizations that you want to do to your group just to make sure that you're the person who's managing it. So I'm just here. Like you click the little 3 dots and then you click edit group settings. And then basically you've got all of the stuff that you just set up at the top here. So test group for webinar, public, closed, and secret. And then from there, you see this membership approval. So any member can add or approve members. Any member can add members, but an admin must approve them. For all of my brand reps, I pick the second option just because I want to be responsible for who's coming into my group and who's seeing my posts, right? From there, you can also customize the link that's up here. So right now, it's just some random group with numbers. So if you wanted to have your brand team name, like, so let's say it was Little Misfits Brand Reps, I would just customize the address by clicking on that button and typing in what I wanted. So Little Misfits Brand Reps. And that also makes it a lot easier later for me to go ahead and share that link with the people who I've accepted on my brand rep team, so that they can just go right there and they don't have to go in and then try to search for the group and then try to add themselves, because as a secret group, they're not actually going to be able to do that. So once you click customize address, and I'm just going to put 2 because that's actually what my my brand rep team is called, it's going to go ahead and update the web and email addresses for your Facebook group. It's a good idea to put in a description so that anybody that does happen across your group does see what the group is about. So you can say, this is an official group, and I'll just type it in. This is an official group for the brand reps for Little Misfits. I think it's spelled little wrong. Oops, and misfits, apparently. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. And then I would save that. And then if your business is about a certain thing, so like say it was about bicycles, because I just keep going back to the bicycles, right? You could type in bicycles, and then it's an interest, and you could put it there. And that just helps. It's a tag that shows up on the inside of the group when you're done. If you ever changed your group from secret to public, it would help people just type in the search bicycles, and then your group would come up there. So then the last thing to consider, really, or the last 2 things, are posting permissions. If you want to be the only person who can post inside of your group, you would select the bottom one. For me, members and admins post to the group. So like anybody who's in the group can post, and anyone, you know, like any admin in the group can post. And the last one is post approval. If you want to be able to see all the posts before they actually show up and go wide to the group, you can just click that button, and it will go ahead and do that for you. So in this case, I'm just going to save all of those preferences. It says my changes have been saved. And then I would just go ahead and create a little banner and update that banner. Probably just even with your logo is fine. It doesn't need to be any kind of fancy picture. And in fact, it doesn't even have to have a picture. If you leave that blank, it'll just take the profile pictures of all of the people who join the group, and it will create a little bit of a collage at the top with their profile pictures. So that is a very simple way to get to the Facebook groups. Dropbox, you just go onto dropbox.com and go ahead and create a free Dropbox account with the shared access. And then Google Forms, again, it's a free online application. So I'm actually, if I go into Google Drive, right, we go back in for there. Like all of the forms that I've created have always been for giveaways. So what you're about to see is kind of like giveaway form information. So when you go into my Google Drive, basically you can see the forms that I've created by like double clicking on them here. And this is basically what the inside of your Google Drive will look like. Now, to use Google Drive, you do have to have a Google account, which is the equivalent of a Gmail account, right? So let's say I just wanted to create a new form. I would just select new over here, and it's asking me what I want to do. So what do I actually want to do? I want to create a Google document. So that's kind of like a Word document, right? In this case, that's not actually what I wanted to do. So I got to get back to my Drive. I got to create new. And what I'm actually wanting to create for your brand reps is a Google form, right? So here you can title your form, and this is Little Misfits Brand Rep Applications. And then you put your description of the form, enter the information below to apply to rep our brand, right? And then you can go ahead and create questions here, and you can give your questions titles. Down here, the question type is going to tell you what kind of question you're doing. So, you know, if you wanted to do a multiple choice question, that's the default. It always shows up with multiple choice. You type in all the different options that you wanted, and just as you click, it just adds in a different option for you. You type in help text that when people hover over it, they can see what's going on. And then there's a few advanced settings that you can use, which is just like shuffle the option order. So if this was more of a survey, you might use that. But for the most part, you just want to keep your options, and then people will just go ahead and click in when they're done. When you want to add another question, you just click add item. The default item, again, is multiple choice. So if this time you wanted to add a choose from a list or a checkbox as opposed to a set of like multiple choices, so like they can answer more than one answer for this one, you would go ahead and you'd put the question up here. So let's say, what interests you most? That could be a question, and it could be tattoos, fashion, parenting, sports, whatever. Whatever it is for your business that you want to be gleaning the questions and answers from. So basically, when you're ready for that, when you're all done, it's going to ask you to publish. So show link to submit another response. So basically, people can come back into this afterwards if you set it up this way, and they could change their answers. For me, I don't like that. Like, I just like you to be able to answer the question once. So I would just kind of say, I'm not going to show a link so that they can submit another response. You can publish and show a public link to the form results so that anyone can see it. And then you can allow your responders to edit responses after submitting, which is kind of what I just said. So basically, the confirmation page is what we're editing here, and it's like confirmation page, your response has been recorded. You could put in your own separate message that says, hey, thanks so much for filling out my brand rep application. I go through these quarterly on these days, let's say May 15th, and I don't know, like another 3 months from then, right? You can kind of give them the expectation that way, and you can say all brand reps are chosen by X date. If you haven't heard, please go ahead and apply again for the next round, kind of thing. And then you just say send your form. So this is the link to share your form. Now, the thing about Google Forms is it's not very editable in terms of what the form actually looks like. So if you go back up to here, you can see there's edit questions, change themes, view responses, and view live form. So if you want to change the theme, like the original theme is just a very plain kind of default theme. You can have like a kind of kid funny theme, beach theme, like there's a whole assortment of themes that you can get from Google. Just none of them, of course, are going to have your brand, and none of them you can actually change any of the colors or images on right now. So it's a free option, but if you really wanted a branded option, you'd probably end up paying for something like woofoo.com to go ahead and make your form look how you want it to look. In terms of viewing the live form, it's just going to basically show you exactly the same thing that it shows you in the theme editor. And then in terms of viewing responses, like it's going to, every response to your Google theme is going to have a timestamp and the answers to your question, and it's going to be in this sheet so that you can later just download that sheet and kind of work from that. So like if you're asking for email addresses, sizes, all that kind of stuff, it's just going to live inside of this sheet each time somebody responds to your Google form. So that's the secondary part of the free options about how to organize your brand team. So I'm going to go back into the presentation here. So should I use a brand team contract? 100% you should. You need a brand team contract or agreement and a non-disclosure agreement and a legal release. And all of that might sound intimidating, but the truth of the matter is the brand team contract just makes things easier for everyone. So you don't have to think about it like a real contract. You just think about it like this. If you're going to give somebody any amount of free things or any amount of discounted things, you want them to know very clearly what you expect from them in return for giving them those things. They want to be able to agree to that, and they want to know, well, what is expected of me, so that they can make sure that ahead of time that's exactly something that they want to sign up for. So that's all really the agreement is doing. It doesn't have to be, a whole bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. You just say, this is what I expect of you, and this is what you potentially get in return. This is how you earn the stuff that I give you. These are the terms. If you decide that you're not going to give me pictures, or you're not going to live up to the terms in this contract, this is what will happen as a result. And it's just really simple. Like I wrote mine out in Word. It's nothing crazy fancy. A non-disclosure agreement, you can get really simple non-disclosure agreements, often like templates online for free that are completely legally binding. And it's just an agreement that says for the brand rep that they're not going to disclose any of your trade secrets, or if you're going to share with them, you know, things that are coming up for your upcoming season, or if you're giving them an inside peek about how you do your business, how you get your customers, that sort of thing, they're not going to share that with anybody else. And if they do, that they're subject to legal action. And then the last thing is a legal release. And you need a legal release in order to use any of the pictures that they send you in any of your marketing materials. If these people are just sending you pictures at random, or they're tagging you in pictures on Instagram, basically you don't actually have the rights to use them. At any point in time, that person can say, hey, I never said that you could use my picture, and now you've got it on this massive ad, and that ad's making you, you know, $5,000 a day. If you find yourself in that kind of trouble, you might actually be liable to have to pay that person because they didn't agree to let you use their image, right? So ultimately, it's just better to cover your butt, get a legal release, have a lawyer draft one and do it for you. Like mine, honestly, it cost me $150, and it's probably the best $150 I spent on my brand team, because everyone signs it. I feel safe, they feel safe. We all know what the expectations are, and it works out that way. So I just kind of got the bullet points of the things that you should consider with all of these things. I've just spoken to them, so we'll move on to the next slide. How often should my brand reps change? That's 100% up to you. Standards I've seen work well in the marketplace are with 5 items, every 3 months, every 6 months, semi-annually, so like seasonal clothing drop changes, and annually. And that's mostly for clothing items or for items that are seasonal. Things to consider when you're choosing your rep change timing are there other upcoming rep searches that are for competing brands? Because a lot of the times, if you time yours at the same time they time theirs, everyone's already kind of in the mindset of doing the brand rep search. Whereas if they're timed kind of opposite or not close to one another, it can become a little bit tedious for the people who are applying for brand rep positions to have to go into, like, you know, one every month and do the same thing and then wait to hear back and whatnot. So I generally try to time mine at around the same time that competitive shops are also targeting theirs. And then for busier times in your business, you might not necessarily want to be in the middle of a brand rep search at the busiest time of the year. Like, so don't do it right before Christmas, for instance, right? So yeah, it's just things to consider when doing your rep change timing. It's just basically what's best for you and the timing that you have to apply to these sorts of things. So there are some strategies for the types of teams. I explained before, like this webinar goes till 9:30. Just I'm having a few people ask me questions about when does it end? I thought it was an hour. So it goes until 9:30. So we have about half an hour left, and there will definitely be time for questions afterward as well. So we're just going to burn through these other few slides. I'm going to open up to questions, and then you guys can let me know what you think. So strategies, the type of team. My team is a brand family, and I really do mean that when I say that. Like, I really care about the reps. I know them on a first name basis. I know generally what their spouses' names are, what their kids' names are, what sizes they wear, if they're in dance and daycare, that sort of thing. And that's just the way that I like to run my business. I like to know who I'm working with, and I mean pretty tightly. Like, I need to know, you know, who you are as a person, what you represent and stand for, because I'm interested in that and it's interesting to me. You don't have to be that way. That's just how it works for me. So what is a brand family? They have the opportunity to stay on for as long as A, they fit into the products that I'm giving them, their children fit into the products that I'm giving them, and they're being productive members of the team, which means, you know, responding on the types of engagement posts that I post inside of my brand rep group. Or if I do a challenge for the team, like sometimes we'll do like a flat lay challenge, find cool shops that are not Little Misfits and pair our items with theirs, and then we'll post them on Instagram, right? Like, they have to participate in order to stay on the team is kind of how it works with my team. You know, the brand family helps you with promotional activities such as flash sales and themed giveaways. They'll go ahead and share that on their networks. They agree to participate in brainstorming sessions, and they post pictures of the products that they receive online. I get to know them on a personal basis, and it's basically about friendship and mutual support and sharing ideas. The other type of team strategy is kind of like an entourage. So they have the opportunity to stay on for a predefined period of time with the opportunity to extend their stay if the relationship works out. So that's where you go to your brand rep switching. Like if your contract says it's 3 months, then it's 3 months. But if they're in kind of like an entourage type of team, the underlying understanding is that as long as it's working out and there's not a huge need for a bunch of new models or new stylists for your product, they're going to be able to keep coming back and being part of that team for as long as the relationship warrants that. They also agree to post pictures of the products they receive. They help you with the market research initiatives. They help you find fun ways to engage with their friends and your target audience. And then the last is the casually acquainted, which I kind of mentioned in passing before. That's kind of the strategy where people on Instagram will just send out like tons of discounted or free things to like 100 different people to get 100 different pictures of their products in use. Usually it's kind of like a sporadic thing. Like they'll do maybe not 100. Some people do 100 for sure. I've seen that, but maybe it's like 25 and then another 25 2 months from then, and then another 25 like another 2 months from then, and then the original ones that they started with get another set of stuff again, right? And again, they agree to post pictures of the products that they receive. And most of the time, when I say post pictures, when I'm talking about that here, what I mean is post them in Dropbox. I don't mean post them on their Instagram necessarily. That is also part of my brand team strategy. They post pictures on Instagram and put them in the Dropbox. And the reason for that is I want to use the pictures in my marketing materials, so they need to be high resolution. But for Instagram, they need to be low resolution. So I can't just grab a picture from Instagram and throw it into like a postcard, or like if I'm making a printed item, I can't use it because it's not high enough resolution. So when my reps post the pictures, they post them both on social media and into the Dropbox folder that's shared for all of us. Now, this is the good part of the webinar. Well, let's just say all of it's probably pretty good, but this is how you start to monetize your reps. So once you've gone ahead, you've set up your team, you've set up your strategy, you've got all your ducks in a row, you've set up your brand team search. Here's how you're going to monetize and actually use the pictures and the things that they give you in order to make money. The first and easiest way is to give your reps a unique discount code to share with their friends and family. So the brand reps each get their own codes to give out to people who are looking for shower gifts, birthday presents, that sort of thing. I want to stress, you tell them to use them for their friends and family and not post them on random sites like Retail Me Not or coupons.com. That's a stipulation in my brand rep agreement, and all of my reps are fine with that, and we've never actually had a problem. So you can give them unique discount codes just to share, and most of them will just share that for free because, hey, why not? But also you can set it up so that members of your team can actually earn cash or credits to use in your store themselves when people buy, right? So there's two kind of options, and depending on the type of team and the types of personalities that you're working with, one option might work better than the other. Like some people really get motivated to make extra cash, not having to do all that much, having to share a discount code, right? The second way, which is a little bit more work, but it's totally worth it, to monetize your brand rep team is to use the pictures that they give you in your promotional materials. So stickers are like huge. You can get a whole sheet of stickers from any random place online that can just be posted. Like I'm sure in a lot of the towns, you'll see these shops that have stickers all up and down their windows, or like people are posting stickers on light poles and whatnot. Like you get stickers, you send them out to your brand reps. People love stuff like that, especially if you're giving them something with their kid on it that they can then share with their friends or send out to their family and whatever, and say, oh, Little Misfits or whatever your whatever your company is gave me this for free because I'm part of their brand team. It gets people both interested in your company and interested in what your brand team is. So huge, 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 huge. If you're not a kid-centric business, I know like I keep referring back to kids, but if you're not a child-centric business, like say, you know, I'm not going to say bicycles, but like say you make jewelry, right? Even if, you know, you've got little cards that you can leave in like trendy shops downtown, like little tiny business cards with the images of your brand reps who are locals, who might actually frequent those shops. it becomes really interesting, because then people maybe pick up that card and then they recognize that person. Oh, hey, you're a model. I didn't know that. That sort of thing. It starts the conversation. So you're creating promotional materials that you can kind of leave around town. You can use at trade shows. You can use for advertising on Facebook or Pinterest, or a variety of different things with the pictures that they give you. And that the possibilities there are literally endless. Using Pinterest promoted pins, your brand reps wearing your stuff or using your products for Pinterest promoted pins is huge, because those pins then will blend in and it doesn't look so promotional, right? Like it looks like a real person using a real product that they are enjoying, right? And that's huge for marketing. Like you want it to look believable, you want it to be relatable, that sort of thing. So you can even get promotional business cards, which is the sub bullet point, with your brand reps exclusive discount offers on them for them to give out when they're at events. Like so many people go to these parks or playgrounds or, you know, events like trade shows, like Fan Expo, tattoo shows, homeowners association shows, you know, there's tons of things, gardening shows, like there's tons of things specific to your industry where you can get your brand reps giving out these promotional cards for free, and you know, you're expanding while you're not even doing any work. Like literally you've done the work up front by creating the promotional material. I just mentioned Pinterest and using the promoted pins. If you don't have promoted pins right now, I definitely suggest going and applying to get them. It's very simple to do that, and I'm just going to stop sharing that and I'll show you how. So basically on Pinterest, I don't know if I'm in my own account, so it might just automatically log me in. I'm not, I'm in the Little Misfits account. So I believe Little Misfits has promoted pins. I just kind of want to see. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Pinterest promoted pins. I'm just going to Google that instead. And then you get to the ad section, right? So Little Misfits has actually already been approved to do promoted pins. And I'm actually going to do a webinar about that at some point. But basically, if you were not approved to do promoted pins, right here, you would just see a sign up. You put in your business. You have to be logged into a Pinterest account to do it. You put in your Pinterest, and then you get on a waiting list. Now, I was on a different call just the other day where it was actually with Ezra Firestone, who's really great at teaching people how to sell other things, sell physical products online. So basically, he's actually talked with the folks at Pinterest who gave him some inside tips on how you actually go ahead and get approved for promoted pins like faster. So the key thing is you want to be in Pinterest at least twice a day, like early in the morning and late at night, pinning things. They look for activity on your account, and that's how they determine who gets bumped up to the top of the list, right? So if you just do a flyby, you put in your application, and then basically you just never show back up, they're not going to go ahead and approve you as quickly for promoted pins than if you're in there all the time. Even just repinning, like you're not having to come up with your own material. Repinning other people's material is going to get you approved for promoted pins much faster. In addition to that, we're looking at, you know, basically the types of pins that you're pinning. They look at that, like, are the pins that you're pinning popular pins, right? Like, are you just pinning some random stuff that nobody likes and, you know, isn't going to get you anywhere? They do look at that when they're determining whether you're going to be allowed to kind of use a promoted pins account. So if you haven't signed up for it, I would say go ahead and do sign up for it. I am going to be doing a webinar like in a little while about how to use Pinterest promoted pins to actually expand your business. And Pinterest is a huge source of money. Like people basically come on Pinterest to pin stuff that they want to buy. So getting your stuff in front of their audience, getting your sales, using rich pins, all that kind of stuff, it's really important. And it could become a whole other just target market, like that's perfect for your business. I mentioned Facebook ads. What I didn't mention is website photos. So a lot of the time, conversion on your website goes up when there's more than just a product photo, right? So like if you're just sharing, for me, baby clothes and there's no baby in the clothes, it's a little harder to get people to actually envision their child being in the clothes, and thus a little harder to get them to actually click add to cart and put it in. So brand reps are perfect for that. They'll send you high quality photos that you can then put on your website, and then it shows that you've got real people in the clothes, and it makes it a lot more relatable. And then on Instagram, people love seeing their real people that they can relate to, especially on Instagram. So if you pair your pictures with some simple and direct copy to spike your page likes or your website engagement, it's really easy to get people coming into you from Instagram and Pinterest. The other thing, another great way to monetize is put your reps' pictures on your website next to the images of the clothes with a review from those reps. Reviews are huge in terms of what you're doing on your website. Like, it creates what's called social proof. So most of the time on a website, you go on, you see like a little review panel. Sometimes you don't. Like, a lot of the smaller shops don't actually open it up for reviews. And I think a lot of the time it's probably just because they're afraid, they're not sure what people will say. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, I love your products, but then you do get, especially with small handmade shops, you get those random negative Nancy's who want to come on and review because, you know, they thought it was orange and the screen wasn't optimized, and really it's kind of more of a pinky color that they got, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and air their dirty laundry that way. Most of the time, people are smart enough to see that for exactly what it is just somebody complaining about something looking different. And how you respond to those reviews definitely shows your character, especially how you respond publicly. So if you take care of it in a timely manner, most of the times people will go back on and they'll change their review to make it more positive. Or, you know, even if they don't, the rest of the people who come by and who read those reviews and see you being super professional and how you responded to customers who didn't like something or who did have an issue, it just makes them feel safer online. What else? Run flash sales using the pictures you've provided you are provided, and then use those to promote your brand rep program, right? The more people who want to be part of the program, the better it is overall, because people talk about the things that they're trying to do and their goals with their friends who are generally part of your target market, right? So then organization, there's a whole bunch of organization strategies. Like, you can come up with certain naming conventions for your photos, which is what we do. So it's simpler for me to understand what photo I'm picking when I look at Dropbox. So for instance, like if I was wearing a Haters Gonna Hate shirt for my shop and I uploaded a picture of myself in that shirt to my Dropbox for the brand team, I would label it Dion Haters Gonna Hate Black, because the color of the shirt was black. That the product name is Haters Gonna Hate, and I'm the person who's wearing it. So it's you can do a variety of different things. You can put date, shirt title, product title, colors, whatever works for you, that makes it easier for you to know what you're looking at and faster for you to kind of just get to the end of what you need to do with those images. Brand rep guides, I have those on my website, and I did promise that I would show you what they look like. So I'm just going to go real quick over there to Little Misfits and show you the brand rep guide. So on my page, I think it's actually /brand reps. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, become a brand rep at the bottom of the page there. So you can apply right here to become a brand rep. And then I'm pretty sure, it's funny that I didn't even know what my own link is here. Interesting. Meet the team, work with us, maybe. Sorry, we just changed all of our drop downs, so I'm having a hard time finding what we did with our brand rep guides, because they're not as easily available on the site yet. I'm just going to take a quick second because I do want to show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to take a quick second. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here while I log into the back end to see what is actually showing up. So you get to look at me for a second. Just going to go in really quickly. Blaze just fix me real quick. So my pages. Oh, you see, I'm silly. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing so that you can all see. I forgot that I had to put pages in front. So when we go here, I have to say pages. I was like, I knew it said brand reps. I don't know what happened here. So basically, when you want to rep the brand, and I'm going to actually update these links so it's easier to find this, but when you want to represent our brand, you'll be directed to this brand reps page. If you just click on the image, and basically the page tells you to do that, inside you're going to be brought to a PDF that tells you about me and my husband, Danny, and basically tells the reps all about the program, right? Like, so what can they get? What kinds of reps are there? You know, who we're looking for, like what kinds of people, and it shows some pictures of the reps that we've had in the past. And then what else do they have to do? And then, you know, what we require. So something different that we require from all of our reps is that they allow us to help them reach a personal goal. And why we do that is because it helps to open up the conversation. So we get to kind of know who we're dealing with, what they want to do in their lives, and it becomes a real conversation starter, so that you're kind of creating a relationship that's healthy and good with the reps right off the bat. And then it tells them what the picture requirements are and like how to apply. So that's an example of a rep guide that you could use for your business as well. Product ordering. So to organize your product ordering, the best thing to do is to make sure that they order through your website using a 100% off coupon or discount code. That way the sizing and addresses are always correct if you keep your reps for a long time, like the brand family reps that we do. And it's easy to keep track of what you've sent out to the different reps. Continued engagement. You can do weekly challenges, brand team contests, and those include like product ideas, trend challenges, like what's on trend this season, flat lay challenges, picture challenges, a whole assortment of things. Talk about your life inside of your Facebook group. Talk about the things that you're struggling with your business even, or if you're just having a bad day, or you know, you had a really rough customer. You can talk about those things with your reps because they're kind of like your friends, especially if you have a family strategy, because basically you're mutually sharing and it creates just this open dialogue so that people will come in and they'll share what they're working on or what they're having trouble with for any amount of time. Help them with a goal, which is what I just kind of explained to you that we do, and help them work with other brands. So if you know other shop owners looking for reps, get your reps to give you a list of the brands they'd like to rep for, and then help them make those connections. Like a lot of the time, especially as small shops, are always talking to one another. We're involved in giveaways or marketing promotions together. So if you can help your reps kind of rep for other shops, it's kind of like, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. They're super thankful. Like you're giving to them, you're creating relationships with other brands for them. And in turn, they want to help you be successful and do things that help you. So last but not least, we're finally to the part of the webinar that goes on to the pitfalls. So sometimes what you'll do, despite all of your best efforts, you'll get reps who don't post pictures of the products that you send them, or reps who post crappy pictures of the products you send them, or they don't participate in your group activities, or they complain inside of your group about, you know, stuff that's just not like, it's a constant thing. They're just complaining all the time and they bring down the group morale. Basically, how to avoid them before they start is to make sure you do have a vigorous application process. You can glean a lot about a person from the way that they answer questions. And I mean, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what kinds of questions do I ask them? Well, ask them, you know, what their hopes and dreams are. Like, ask them what really annoys them, what their like 5 top pet peeves are, or, you know, if they saw this in public, what would really get them angry? You know what I mean? People will answer tons of questions. People love to talk about themselves, especially when applying for something. So the more you can get them talking, the more you can kind of get to know who they are as people and decide whether that's a fit for your brand or not. So like I just said, part of my application process is asking a lot of questions. If they represent other brands, check in with those shop owners. A lot of the time, if they're crappy reps, the shop owners are the first to tell you, right? They'll be like, no, I sent that person something, they never tagged me, and it took them 5 months to post it, and whatever, right? And that's a really simple way of just kind of doing some quick homework to find out who you're really dealing with, and then check out their social feeds to ensure the fit is correct. Like if they're on a private social feed, it's not great for you as a business because like you can't even see who they're sharing with, or if they're sharing at all. You can't verify that the products that you're giving them are actually getting out to their friends and family members and followers on social media. How to avoid the pitfalls after they start. The big key is being like consistently active in your Facebook group and to handle any negativity like as soon as it starts. If you're there and you're kind of like, you know, everyone has a bad day, it's a bummer, and I really hope you turn your day around, but in the meantime, blah, 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 and you kind of change the subject really, really quickly. Like, you don't even have to call people out. Really, really quickly, people start to see that the tone and the vibe of the group is to keep it positive, right? And make sure to practice what you preach. Keep your posts positive, keep them forward moving and fun. If there is a problem, like say for some reason your reps were supposed to get a package and then it got delayed because you got super busy and you didn't have time to send it, you know, if that's a problem, like be honest about it. Say, this is what's happening, but my solution is this. And that's what I mean by being forward moving. Don't focus too much on the problem, focus on a solution, or change the subject after you kind of already spoken to the solution. And just get people back on the positivity train, because that's the better way to do things anyway. And then give weekly team challenges for them to complete. Like when people have something to do, they're less likely to be sitting there like thinking and wallowing in negativity, right? If you give them something fun to do that they actually want, that, you know, could be interesting to them, it just kind of keeps them in a good positive place. Do things together if you're close enough, like physically close enough. Go see a movie, have a like brand team lunch, you know, or coffee date or something, you know, brand team brainstorming session. There's so many good ideas. And then just take an interest in their personal lives, projects, children, other things that are important to them as well. Like the better that you can get to know them, the better they get to know you, the stronger the bond is, and the more positive it is really for everyone. Okay, so we are finally to the point in time where we are getting questions. So I'm just going to take a quick look because I think the questions have been going a bit differently. I'm pretty sure I've got a bunch of questions in my inbox from this exact webinar. So, but for some reason I'm not actually seeing a bunch of your questions, which is really bizarre. Okay, so I'm wondering, based on that, if the questions link is actually active. Is the chat box active, guys? Like, I'm not seeing anything pop up at all. Well, how about this? So anybody who's listening, if you can just go ahead and quickly text me at 905-409-5683. Any questions that you have, I will just take a quick peek at my text messages while we're waiting, and I'll answer any questions that kind of pop through on that number. So again, 905-409-5683 to text your questions to me. Okay, so Ed, who's on the call, says, I have no questions. That was a lot of information to digest. Thanks, Ed. Okay, so at least I know that that will be working. If you guys do have questions, go ahead and ask. I am going to move on and just kind of share with you the next step for what I'm doing with these webinars in the meantime. So give you some time to get the questions in. So Cultivating Wonderful Business, I'm turning that into a website. So basically, it's going to be a membership website for paying members only. But basically, in the start, because the idea and the goal is really just to help people. At the end of the day, basically what's going to end up happening is we're going to make it $10 a month, and you can come in and you can get access to all of the webinars, replays of the webinars that I do, and then from there, you'll be able to get like the hosted training in one spot that you can always have access to. So in addition to these webinars, what I'll be posting on that website are PowerPoint slides, like all the slides that I used in this webinar for this call today will be posted there, as well as additional strategies and deeper dives on tips and tricks. So like we didn't go over some things like Bazart or WordSwag or, you know, actually what questions should I ask my brand team members and things like that, or what questions even I ask them on the call today. I'll be sharing all of that information, sharing my brand team contracts, like the things that I get them to sign digitally that says, okay, I agree to what we're doing here, and we're going to have a good time. Basically, all of that kind of stuff is going to be accessible on the backside of the Cultivating Wonderful Business website. So I'm working on all of that now. My targeted launch date for that is August 1st. If that sounds like it's something that's interesting or that you'd want to be part of, do let me know. Just shoot me a quick email to hello@cultivatingwonderful.com, and I'll put you on a waiting list so that you're the first to know when it comes out. And the thing is, like anything, basically all of the people who are on these brand rep webinars or on any of the other webinar trainings that I do in advance of actually having that website open are going to be ushered in at that $10 a month rate. After it's up and it's running, the price is going to go up. So new people coming in aren't going to get the same benefit of the people who have been here all along. So just something to keep in mind. If you're interested, definitely send me a note. I will have a sign-up form posted shortly. It's just something I'm working on right now. So I do have some questions now. Well, well, thank you. So basically, my phone's been kind of vibrating a lot, and it's people are saying there's no questions. This is awesome. So after the call, I guess the best thing for me to do, I do have my brand rep team, and my brand rep team, I tell everybody, is thebomb.com. Like, they are awesome, awesome, awesome. So based on that, I have a handout that's ready, and it's going to give you guys exclusive access to my brand rep team. So reps I've worked with who I know send awesome pictures, who I know like are great for brands. They get really involved and enthusiastic. They'll help you with giveaways. They're just really great ladies. So if you have a children-based business, they have super cute kids, and they're fantastic in terms of if you're wanting to create kind of a family-style brand team, they'll really work well with you. I'm going to send that out via email to everybody who subscribed to be on this call today. It's going to have all of their Instagram handles, and then on my website, if you actually come up and you go to, I think it's Meet My Team at the bottom here, you can actually go ahead and you can see who all my team members are, because for me, I really do value my team, and I really want to help them kind of grow and rep for other brands and meet all of the goals that they're working on. So you can kind of click in, and if you click on any single one of the pictures, it's going to bring you to a little write-up about the team, where then you can basically see the kids and some of the pictures that they've sent and used for me, and a little write-up about who they are as people. And that's just kind of in keeping with the getting to know you vibe for the team. Like, I really do believe that rep teams are super important, and the better thing to do is to kind of always ask yourself, what's in it for them? What can I give them? How can I give back to them and help them? Because it creates such a great relationship. And such kind of a great tribe. Like, they kind of become your personal cheerleaders. So when you are having a really crappy day, like you ordered a bunch of inventory and it arrived wrong, or it didn't arrive at all and you needed it by yesterday, you know, they're kind of your personal support workers in a way, where they're like, hey, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a great day. And, you know, here's a cute picture of my kid, you know, to kind of make your day better. So I can't say enough good about my own brand team. I definitely encourage you to open up the email that I'm about to send and reach out to them. A lot of them would love to rep for other brands, especially small upcoming brands who don't actually have reps doing anything for them right now. And I guess that's it. So because there are no questions, I am going to end the call now. We're about 3 minutes past, and I do like to try and make sure that I honor our time commitments. If you've enjoyed this, make sure that you're on the Cultivating Wonderful website. I'm going to go ahead and be posting a lot more of these trainings on a lot different subjects. I also do have a Facebook group that you can join. It's a Facebook mastermind group. I'm just going to go back into Facebook here and show you. It is called Cultivating Wonderful Business, and you can just go and you can ask to be part of the group. I post all of the events that I'll be doing inside of that group. As well, you can ask any questions, and it's not very long before somebody, either myself or another member of the 50 that are in the group, will come and try to answer your questions. If you're struggling with something, or if you have any questions really about anything shop related, there's a bunch of people in there who are willing to help you out. So this has been awesome. For my first webinar, I'm glad I didn't destroy anything, and I'll see you all again soon.